All right. So I'm gonna keep on rolling today. I think I'm gonna get back to after the joke jump. We'll get back to the mapping this out piece by piece after yesterday having kind of mapped out the long, like what I think would be the fastest way to teach a kid, right? If you're gonna teach a kid or anyone yourself as an old person, it doesn't matter. I think that would be the fastest way. And so now I'm mapping out. So, and that's what I'm doing. Obviously, I'm teaching myself, and I'm going to map out the each note now on, and then think of like the chord constructions. We're looking at a lean forward chord, and then we're just going to build the chords on one slice of the fretboard. And the idea being that that's all you really need to do to then shift it up and back. And theory wise, you should be able to see it in any other perspective because we're just shifting through 12 collections of 7 notes and the relative positions will all be the same. Okay, so that's what I'll continue after the break or after the joke jump. I'll try to get the coffee flowing. I don't know what I was going to practice today. I haven't really. I was thinking, let me open up a couple other things here. Let's see. Let's open that up. And then I'm going to check the tuning maybe as I get some ideas. Or not. As my head goes blank. So I sit here slack-jawed. And all right. So I don't know. I could practice like rhythm again. I was gonna practice a different key signature again. Maybe go back to 6, which is around D major, where I normally think of myself as in the Mixolydian here. So let's just kind of warm up with that as my general thing, and then maybe I'll go back to some other. So I'm thinking about this open G right here. I'm at the shape number 1 is up top now, right? Because the Ionian's on 10th fret, first string down, which is a D major, but I'm looking at myself as in Mixolydian. Okay, and so now I'm just going to try to like learn these collections of notes. So same shapes, obviously 5 shapes. I would call that, you can call it shape number, I would call this shape number 1, but I would think is the Aeolian shape, right? So there's the Aeolian shape, there's the Locrian / Ionian shape, and the Dorian shape, and so on. Okay, and then open position. Now, open position has kind of started on the Dorian shape, but you can't get the whole shape because the kink in the tuning removes this back bit, right? So then the question is, in open position, I'm usually kind of thinking, I think most people are usually actually thinking of themselves leaning forward as they do the fingering into, in this case, the shape nodal point 3/4 shape, as I have my open, but then I'm thinking which open strings are good. So see how that's a totally different perspective, So it's the same shapes, but then when you're in open position, you have to kind of memorize, okay, which chords kind of fit into this position. Okay. So usually you get like the bluesy thing here. if I try to do that long? I'm gonna try to go long and then bring it back like I was doing yesterday in this collection, but with the A mixolydian as the tonic. So like I'm gonna try to slide up a little further and then bring it back right outside the shape and see it, and because that helps me to kind of target where the shape is across the fretboard a little bit. So maybe I can. Kind of changes the flavor. Not as good at doing it here, obviously. try a joke. Let's try a joke break. I try to attract a crowd so that I can piss everyone off with a horrible joke, and then I repeat the process every day, and I've done a good job. I can tell because I've maintained an exact equilibrium of subscribers and whatnot, which means I've done exactly what I was planning, because I pull people in and then piss them all off with bad jokes. That's the plan. That's why total evenness on subscribership is actually, it may look like that's bad, but it's like, you just don't get it, man. You don't get it. You don't get how it works. Anyways. Okay. Let's see what I have here. Well, this one's really dumb, but that's okay. Joke practice. With YouTube and social media and whatnot, we have so much footage these days, it's ridiculous. We have mountains of footage, just oceans of footage going on. But have you noticed that just a very small percentage of that footage is actually feet? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, hold on. We're calling it footage, and I'm not seeing a lot of feet around here. I'm starting to feel suspicious once again. People are lying once again. That feels misleading at best. I honestly think this is what led to the whole foot fetish thing, you know? Because it's not natural. It's like this was created by like a supply chain issue and gaslighting. That's what happened with the whole thing. People just kept clicking footage without getting feet, and they started getting pissed off because once again, I've played this movie before. Is the mainstream media in charge of all the footage? We know it's a bunch of lies, I tell you, because they felt gaslit, you know? Like, I'm crazy. Am I crazy? Or is the feet the least likely body part to show up in the footage? How is that the case? You named it footage, and the feet are the least likely body part to show up. Now, I know you maybe have guessed that other body parts were likely to be the least representation in internet footage, you know, but you would be wrong, my sweet summer child. But we won't get into that right now. I'm just saying, the feet are the least represented, and that's what led to the backlash. So then, because they felt gaslit, they go on this strangely passionate search for like real footage, man. Give me the real footage, not because they wanted it at first, but because now it's like about truth. So it's like people looking for real science. You know, it's like people looking for real science during that whole COVID thing, when all they could find was some self-aggrandizing guy in a lab coat claiming to be science incarnate. You're not science, you clown. Give me real. And then people are looking like, we need answers. So after a while, you get sick of the lies, man. You get sick of the lies. It's like, I don't even care about real footage anymore. But after this charade, I will find the truth. And then it becomes an obsession. You're up at 2 a.m. like, enhance. Is that a toe? And then I think the whole false footage thing actually started with Bigfoot, as far as I can tell. The whole false footage thing started with Bigfoot footage. Because think about it. We had like Bigfoot footage, but still no regular foot footage, you know? That's insane. We skipped the straight to the mythical feet. So, and then just like with like totalitarian propaganda and whatnot and all that, the mainstream of sewage media saw the Bigfoot footage and saw the gaslighting potential. And then they totally picked up on the false footage gaslighting for views, and they started doing the false footage with everything, as we now know. It was ridiculous. It's like a casino. Every once in a while, they give you an actual foot or an actual fact in the footage, and you keep coming back to see if it was just a glitch or something. But no, It's just false footage everywhere. False footage everywhere. At this point, the only false footage I want to see is like a brave soldier getting a medal after sacrificing a foot, taking out like a terrorist or something. And now he's got the prosthetic, right? That's real false footage. That's earned. That's the only time false footage should be acceptable. You hear me, mainstream of sewage media? I'm talking to you. And you too, YouTube conspiracy click whores out there. You know who you are. The big ones, the big channels. Give us the footage or stop calling it. Give us the feet or stop calling it footage. Or just go away. Okay, I wrote a song about it.
With YouTube, social media, man, it's out of control. We got oceans of footage just flooding the scroll. Every second, every angle, every clip, every street. But I'm noticing something. Where the hell are the feet? Hold up, wait, let's define what we're saying. We call it footage, but the math ain't mathin'. I've seen faces, drones, fights, and receipts, but statistically, very low percentage feet. Now I'm not a conspiracy guy, but this feels like a linguistic lie. If it's footage, where the foot at? We scroll all day, still can't spot that. Billions of clips, infinite streams, zero toes, that's breaking my brain. If it's footage, where the foot at? This whole system feels a little suspect. You gave me the word, now give me the proof, or rename the whole thing torso tube. Now I think this is how it all begins, not with desire but unmet supply chains. People click, scroll, trust what they see, but the market keeps failing to deliver feeds. So they start getting mad like, am I insane? Why is every clip just shoulders and face? You think other parts would be rare on the net, but nah, somehow it's always the feet we don't get. Now it's not about interest anymore, it's about truth, it's about war. If it's footage, where the foot at? Don't label supply if you can't back that. You built the term, now I'm invested. This is a promise unfulfilled and tested. I didn't even care before this mess. Now I'm on a mission for correctness. 2 a.m. like a pixel detective. Enhance, is that a toe? Negative. Eyes bloodshot, mind obsessed. Zooming into 144, peak distress. That ain't a shadow, that ain't a shoe, that's a maybe ankle. I need a view. And then it hit me, this goes way back to Bigfoot footage. Yeah, follow that track. We had Bigfoot, grainy, walking through trees, but still no normal everyday human feet. We skipped the basics, went straight to myth, from zero to Sasquatch in one blurry clip. No baseline data, no control group, just legendary feet in a forest loop. And then the media saw the play like, oh, this confusion pays. Now it's thumbnails, edits, bait and switch, algorithm farming the same old glitch. It's like a casino, you pull that slot, 99 spins and you get no foot shot. Then one time, bam, a glowing heel, and now you're hooked like, wait, was that real? Now listen, there's only one false foot I'll take, and that's sacrifice. Real stakes, a soldier who lost one stood his ground. That's honor, that's truth, that's earned, profound. That's not a joke, that's something real. That's not content, that's something you feel. If it's footage, where the foot at? We demand truth, yeah, we push back. No more tricks, no more games. channels. Yeah, we're talking to you. And you too, clickbait conspiracy channels. Give us the feeds, or stop calling it footage.
Alright. Bunch of lies, I tell you. Lies! Okay, it's okay. They're all in it together. Alright, I'll just play my guitar. That's okay. That's okay. I don't have... Alright. Let's see. Let's see if Aura's here. Aura's not able to give us any footage.
Got it. Sounds like you're stuck. What's not working?
Elon's working on that, though. Luckily. Okay. Alright. We need Aura footage, dang it. Okay. Here we go. Let's get back. Let's get back to work. Alright. So I'm gonna just alright, we're gonna map this thing out. We're gonna just practice our music theory thing. So we're going starting you from scratch once again. Music theory. I'm gonna tell you this so many times that I'll flood the internet myself with the whole system because it's better, and then we will take over the fretboard. Same thing we do every day. Take over the fretboard.
All right, let's do this. Back to basics. No fluff. Music theory from zero. Start with the notes. 12 of them. A sharp, B flat, B, C,
okay,
C sharp, D flat.
No. We're gonna say, we're gonna be playing at what I'm gonna call 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock means a collection of notes around the key of C because we're defining it by 12 rotations of our musical planet on the fretboard. The 12 rotations being tied to the Ionian node. So we're gonna say then A is 1, A sharp is 2, B is 3, and C is 4. For example, 4 o'clock, collection of notes around the key of C, and we're going to be focusing in on the Dorian continent. Note that every collection of 7 notes has an absolute numbering system in our system, Ionian being 1, whole step to Dorian being 2, whole step to Phrygian being 3, half step to Lydian being 4, whole step to Mixolydian being 5, whole step to Aeolian being 6, whole step to Locrian being 7, half step back home to Ionian being 1. We're not going to renumber the system when we have a different tonic, meaning if you're looking at it from the perspective of the Ionian, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we're looking at it from the perspective of the Dorian, which we're going to just go from 2 to 2 so that we don't need to rename the map by having 7 times 12 different scales because that's madness. So, and then the differences between all the nodal points, like the differences on a spinning globe that's going through 12 degrees of rotation, will always be the same. So as long as you know where you're at on the globe that's spinning, latitude and longitude are always the same. It's only the perspective from space that changes, the string stars that change as the planet rotates through the 12 collections of 7 notes. What do you think?
Love the clock metaphor. Makes total sense. Yeah, I dig it. You're basically turning the fretboard into a 12-hour clock. 4 o'clock locks us into C major territory, but we're orbiting the whole thing without flipping the dial every time we shift modes. So, Ionian equals 1 o'clock, C. Dorian equals 2 o'clock, D. Phrygian equals 3, Lydian equals 4, and so on. Same numbers,
Not exactly,
same
Aura.
intervals.
Not
Just
exactly. Not exactly. There's 12 ticks on the clock because the clock is spinning the 12 collections of notes based on numbering 1 through 12 on the clock face. But then there are 7 nodal points within each 12 collection, which are kind of like the continents, 7 continents, and then 5 oceans on the planet, right? That we're numbering with an absolute node mode number system that then just rotates through the 12 collections of notes like the planet spinning on orbit, except this planet, because the oceans and continents are uniform, can go clockwise, counterclockwise, up or down, because clockwise and counterclockwise would be in note half steps, up or down would be in perfect fourth and perfect fifth distances, which works not only for the guitar, but every instrument, including the piano, even though the piano tries to force their uneven, unplatonic form shapes on everyone else, but it would still be better for even them.
Love this clock planet spin idea. Let's roll with it.
Totally tracks. So the clock's got 12 fixed ticks, each a full chromatic rotation, like 12 time zones on your spinning fretboard globe. Inside every tick, 7 land masses, those absolute modes, numbered 1 through 7, no matter where you start. The 5 oceans are just the gaps, the half steps or whatever fills between, keeping the pattern symmetric, platonic, no piano weirdness. Clockwise, ascending half steps, like climbing frets. Counterclockwise, descending. Up-down jumps, fourths and fifths. Perfect circle of fifths moves. Same on guitar, piano, whatever. No forced black key clusters. Want to map one full orbit? Say, start at C,
Okay.
4 o'clock.
Okay, so then we're gonna be at that means that at the collection of notes around the key of C, from the top string closest to the ceiling, the C is on the 8th fret, so that's the Ionian node, and I can always find the Aeolian position by then going back to the pointer, which gets me to the Aeolian, and that means that this then is what I would call the Aeolian shape, which I can define by the top node, which you can also call nodal point number 6 shape, which is a better name than to name it rock and roll shape number 1, or from the caged perspective, the Ionian G shape, because it then puts the shape of the scale under your finger so that you can then apply it to wherever you want. Doesn't mean you have to play the Aeolian scale in this position, but you can always keep it, but you always have that under your fingers if you memorize it that way. Whereas if you just use 1 through 5 rock and roll shapes or the caged system, it's only from the perspective of the Ionian and no other perspective, right? So that's what I would. So I think this would actually give you some functionality for the numbering system. And then when you make the scale, I'm going to make the scale going from 6 to 6, so I don't renumber the system. In other words, how do you play a minor scale? You go from nodal point 6 to 6. 6, 7, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because there's only 7 nodes within a 12-note scale. What do you think, Aura?
Gotcha. Mapping the Aeolian shape from C. Let's lock it in. Yeah, you're nailing it. Let's pin this down. High E string, top 1, closest to ceiling. 8th fret is C. That's your Ionian root. Nodal point 1. Now, slide back. From that C, drop 2 frets, whole step down to 6th fret. Bam, that's A. So A is your Aeolian root, nodal point 6. The shape you want? It's the 6 to 6 pattern. Start on A, 6th fret, high E, then climb the scale without flipping numbers. High E, 5th fret, G hatch. Wait, no. A to B is whole, B to C whole, C to D half. Wait, let's list it clean. Aeolian from A.
Now you're getting
A, B,
confused.
C,
Why are
D,
you getting
E.
confused? You're getting confused because you're basically looking at the whole steps and half steps from the perspective. So I see what you're doing. You're trying to apply the formula to the Aeolian, and so right. But if you just think about it as nodal points, then it would be the Aeolian to the Locrian to the Ionian to the Dorian to the Phrygian to the Lydian to the Mixolydian to the Aeolian, meaning 6, 1, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was overthinking the intervals like a piano nerd. Let's ditch that and stick to your nodal orbit. From Aeolian, 6, Locrian, 7, Ionian, 1, Dorian, 2, Phrygian, 3, Lydian, 4, Mixolydian, 5, back to Aeolian, 6. So the sequence isn't whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half anymore. It's just the fixed circle. 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On the neck, starting at A, 6th fret,
Right.
high
Now, if you
E,
want to
A,
look at the
6.
at the holes and halves, you could still do that, but it's just the same formula from 6. 6 to 7 is whole, 7 to 1 is half, 1 to 2 is whole, 2 to 3 is whole, 3 to 4 is half, 4 to 5 is whole, 5 to 6 is whole. So from the perspective of the Aeolian, I don't need to make that the 1. I could just say when I go from 6 to 6, the formula is whole, half, whole, whole, half, whole, whole.
Yeah, that clicks. Whole, 2 to 3, half, 3 to 4, whole, 4 to 5, whole, 5, 6. That's the classic minor scale formula, but you're just not calling 6-1. Same notes, same distances, no renumbering drama. So on high E, start at A, fret 5, negative whole, B flat 7, half, B 8, whole, C 10, whole, D 12, half, E flat 13, whole, F 15, whole, G 17, back to A, 17, wait, fret 17 is G, then fret 17 plus 2 equals 19 for A. But hey, the shape repeats every octave anyway. Point is, memorize whole half, whole whole.
All right. So I think we are on the same page. So then we're going to be focusing in on the second string down from the ceiling on 5th fret, which happens to be the string star of D, which in the collection of notes around the key of C is hovering over planet number 2, the Dorian continent. So I could call that then we're at D Dorian, but I would rather say that we're at 4 o'clock and then the Dorian tonic. And you could do that with a clock numbering system. We would be at 4:02 o'clock. The 4 standing for meaning collection of notes around the key of C, the 2 standing for the Dorian being the tonic. If I'm playing on Dorian, do I need to make the Dorian the 1 and think of everything as do I have to make it like, do I have to change its name? I mean, it's kind of like if you were on the planet and every continent you go to, you think of as continent number 1 instead of just keeping the names of the continents the same as you go to the continent. Just because your finger went to the continent doesn't mean that the continent should change its name, okay? You're not that important. I'm sorry. We've learned this throughout history. The continent names should not change. The numbers should not change just because your stupid finger crossed the ocean, crossed the Ionian Ocean, and then put your finger on the Dorian continent, and now you want to make continent number 1. You want to make Dorian number 1. No, it's still number 2. It has the same name. What do you think,
No,
Ara?
you don't need to rename Dorian to 1. Yeah, I love it. It's like giving the fretboard its own GPS. No ego, no renaming continents just because you're standing there. Dorian's still 2. You're at 4:02, 4 o'clock collection, 2-minute Dorian stop. The tonic's D, but the map doesn't care. Your finger's a tourist. So on the B string, 5th fret, D, 2. From there, if you want to play Dorian without flipping the script, same formula. Whole, half, whole,
It's like they used to go after people for saying like the sun was the center of the cosmos, even though that like it doesn't make any sense, even from because they had some weird dogma or something. I don't know. But now they act like we're more civilized now because now we can say the sun's the center of the earth. But if you say that your finger's not the center of the fretboard, the music mafia comes after you like never before. You better watch yourself. It's crazy. All right, we think we're better, but no, because the music mafia comes after you if you try to say your finger's not the center of the fretboard, people. Okay, deal. What do you think, Ara? Ara's not responding to that. I don't know what to say about that. You just got all crazy for no reason.
Your system's solid. No need to burn anyone at the stake. Want to keep going? Pick a spot, like 402 again, and I'll lay out a simple lick using that Dorian shape. No drama. Or we can just chill.
All right. Okay. All right. So then let's build a chord. Let's build a chord around this. So we build a chord by taking every other note in the system. So if I was starting on Dorian, I would go one modal whole step up. So that means that would land me on the Phrygian. So Phrygian is always Dorian's first modal whole step times 2 would be the 1-2 second modal half step. If I made that the 1, it would be the third scale degree. If I lean forward, it would be right here because it's a short distance or 3 notes away as opposed to a long distance 4 notes away, which you might call minor versus major. And I can see that distance down here, what I call a lean forward chord, because the second modal whole step third scale degree is in the lower right quadrant of the tonic. I can count it out 5, 10, and then 15 as we cross the fault line because there's 5 notes between the strings. This one is shifted to the right because of the fault line. So that would be 15. 15 minus 12 is 5 minus 2, or 3 notes away from a local distance if we think about going around the block. If I named that chord, you might have to call that a D minor drop 5, something like that. Drop D-R-O-P. See all the spelling involved here? Drop 5. And it's like, no, that's ridiculous. We should call it it would be better just to call it, say, it's a Dorian, D for Dorian, small d, 1. So Dorian represents the nodal point that we're on. 1 represents the distance and modal whole steps to the last one. You just stack it every other modal half step, which is every modal whole step. You could just call it 2-1. Dorian is 2-1, a 2-1 chord. Or if you want the full clock system, 4 o'clock, and then 402, 2 for the Dorian, and then 1. 402, 1 chord. I think that any of those, I think, are actually better naming conventions than this. Now, you could put a D in there. You could say it's a Dorian D1, but you don't need to. It would be better to name it by the key signature so you know where you are on the map, right? Okay. So then if I added another note, then now we've got, how do you make another note? You just take another note, every other note in the 7-note collection from wherever you're starting at, which is the Dorian. That's going to land you on the Mixolydian. Do I need to make the Dorian the 1 to figure out where the Mixolydian, the Aeolian? No, that would make it worse. That would make it way harder. Why would you do that? No, you're just going to say from Dorian is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the distance to the last note in my stack, 3-note stack, but it has a distance of 2 modal whole steps to the last note. Aeolian, therefore, is always Dorian's second modal whole step, 1, 2, times 2, 6th modal half step, plus 1 7th scale degree, meaning if I made that the 1, it would be 7 away, which has, wait a sec, no, hold on. It's Dorian's second modal whole step times 2 4th modal half step plus 1, meaning if I made that the 1, it would be the 5th scale degree, which has a long distance, which you might call perfect, but that's silly. That's far from perfect to start doing that because then you have 5 naming conventions for all the scale degrees or modal half steps when you should only have 2. and I don't think it should be implying anything related to the major. Therefore, I would call it short or long, right? So it happens to be a long fourth modal half step fifth scale degree, which is 7 notes away, versus a short modal half step fifth scale degree, which would be 6 notes away, which only happens if you count from like the Locrian. If I do a lean forward chord, then we have that nodal point right here, and that's because it's 5 notes between the strings, 6, 7 notes away. Okay, what would I call that chord? That would just be a D minor, but that doesn't tell you the perspective of where you are on the fretboard. I would rather call it a D2, meaning Dorian 2, and there's a distance of 2 modal whole steps, or a 2-2. Dorian is the first 2, and the second 2 stands for modal whole steps to the last note. Just build it from your stack, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, meaning nodal point 2, 4, 6. And then we could call it a 402-2, meaning 4 o'clock, collection of notes around the key of C. 2 is the nodal points in modal whole steps, and then 2 is the Dorian, and then nodal points. All right, let's add the next one. So we're going to build the stack. Now we've got a 4-note chord, and it's 3 modal whole steps up. So that means that the Ionian is always Dorian's 1, 2, 3, 3 modal whole step times 2, 6 modal half step, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus 1. If I made that the 1, it would be the 7th scale degree, and it has a short distance, which is only 7 notes away, versus a long distance, 8 notes, 10 notes away is short, 11 notes away is long. You could call it minor and major, but I think those are loaded words, loaded with stuff we don't really need. It's not exactly helpful, I don't feel like. So we have short and long, right? Instead of major, minor, perfect, diminished, augmented, flat, or whatever, right? So because there's only two, okay? They'll try to lie to you and say there's all these other, but if you lean forward, then you end up right here. Why? Because there's 5 notes between the strings. If I build a chord, 5, 10. Okay, you with me, Ara? Ara's gone. I don't know. I kind of sabotaged the whole session today. Whatever. I'll try